It's not always easy to recognize. It may look like this, or like this. It may be a burden, but it is a responsibility that we embrace nonetheless. But if it means this for one person and this for someone else, maybe it ultimately means being there for one another. It isn't handed to us, but we know where to find it and how it feels, how it tastes, and what it sounds like when we finally have it. It means different things to different people, but for many, it means everything. And if we all fight for it, it will eventually bring us together.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ronald Meinardus, and I'm the head of the project office of Friedrich Naumann Foundation for Freedom in Istanbul. And I'm actually very happy to be with you at the Global Media Forum. This is, I think, the 10th participation. It's unique in a way that I'm not sitting in a big conference hall and interacting physically with the participants. But all the more, the digital communication also has advantages. I'm very pleased to chair this meeting. It's a very special topic. We'll deal with an aspect of Turkish-German relations. The Friedrich Naumann Foundation, as we just saw in the little movie, is an international organization represented in various countries of the world. And without actually emphasizing this, the idea of promoting a German international relations, in this case German-Turkish relations, is very close to us. And we will talk about a partnership, a relationship which is very important. It's not easy. It's a relationship between Turks and Germans, between Germany and Turkey. There are few countries Germany is so entangled with than Turkey, and this is mainly due to some 3 million Turkish descent people who live in Germany, who have found a new home in Germany and who have many challenges. And one of these issues is also how they deal with media and what is the role of media in overcoming these challenges and overcoming stereotypes and negative perspectives. Joining me are two fabulous colleagues, two fabulous journalists. I will start with Nalan, because Nalan is not in Turkey. Nalan Sipar, she is a journalist residing in Berlin. And then on the bottom of this screen, it is Nevsin Mengu, who actually doesn't need any introduction, because it's no exaggeration to call her a media star. And I'm sure that also the viewers of Deutsche Welle, Turkic, and other Deutsche Welle programs will know Nevsin. So I'm really pleased to be discussing some issues with these two fine colleagues. Now you will say, why them and not others? Because with Nalan and Nevsin, we started some while ago a program which is called Sizde Durumlar Nasıl, what's going on your side, in German maybe, or in English. And it's a program, it's a dialogue program in which the two colleagues discuss on a regular basis every 3 weeks an issue which is relevant for Turkey and Germany. And they discuss these issues from a personal and a journalistic perspective in the Turkish language, and they present German perspectives and Turkish perspectives for a German audience in Turkey mainly, but also increasingly also in Germany. But before we get to the session, I would like to ask Nalan maybe to introduce yourself briefly, and then also Nevsin, say a few words.
Yes, hello also from me. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Nalan Sipar and I'm working as a journalist for more than 10 years now for various public broadcasting institutions in Germany like WDR, DLF or the Deutsche Welle, at least also in the private sector for Spiegel. And also I am the producer and host of Germany's one and only migrant and German-Turkish late night show. And in the last months, I've been doing my show, and I've been also doing some or creating some video news about the corona situation in Germany in Turkish. So somehow I became also a YouTube journalist.
I'm very competent, therefore, on talking about the role of social media in building bridges between our two countries. Okay, and then next in row is Nevsin Mengu. Maybe you also, Nevsin?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm also a big fan of Nalan's Turkish news bulletins because she gives a lot of information about Germany also. Well, I'm a journalist and I have worked for Turkish media for long years, both for mainstream Turkish newspapers and televisions. But due to the changing atmosphere of the Turkish conventional media, I also switched to social media. So right now I'm working for Deutsche Welle Turkish. I have a weekly show there, and I also have my YouTube channel, and I tweet regularly. I think that's also some type of journalism we do these days. So yeah.
And you're very humble, Neptune. You have a gigantic followership. 2 million followers on Twitter is something which really you should be proud of, and we're happy to associate with you. Maybe a few words on myself. My name is Ronald Manas, as I said. We all are somehow united by Deutsche Welle. I too spent some years in Deutsche Welle. It was then still in Cologne. And my last position was head of the Greek service of Deutsche Welle, the legendary Greek service, and I'm still happy. Actually, I wrote a commentary for the Greek service this morning, so there's still a connect there. So we're discussing Turkish-German relations. They're not good at all. There's an alienation between Turks and Germans in the political field. It's obvious for various reasons, but also between the peoples. I would like to start maybe with asking Nevsin, how would you judge the Turkish-German relations today? And where do you see the issues and where do you see the problems, if there are any, in your perspective?
Well, yeah, I mean, you described, Turkish-German relations as not being good, but I mean, in comparison to Turkish-United States relations, I'd say it's at least alive and kicking, right? Because after Biden was elected, Turkish-American relations were almost came to like to the level of zero. But Ms. Merkel believes in institutions, and she, I think, knows Turkey well enough that she can keep a level of relationship in terms of politics. In terms of social aspect of the issue, actually, I joined this morning another meeting, a university in Turkey, Kadir Has University. So they do annually, they do these polls, these pollings about how people perceive Turkish foreign policy. And they have been asking people, where does Turkey belong to? Is Turkey a European nation? Is Turkey like a Middle Eastern nation? And it's amazing. We're seeing in the last few years, more and more people define Turkey as a European country. This year, 40% said Turkey is a European country. This used to be like 20%, 21%, 22%. So I think, yeah, I mean, Turkey is an isolationist country and has always been to some extent. But I think globalization is sweeping across the world, and Turkey is not isolated from that either.
But at the same time, before I go to Nalan, but at the same time, the same Kadir Has survey says that over 50%, actually 51% of the Turks perceive Germany as a threat, which is kind of strange if you consider they're members of NATO. And can you say a few words about that before I change to Nalan? Yeah.
Am I asked, or is it again to?
No, I would like to ask Nevsin. What I want to do is actually I want to ask Nevsin how she sees it from a Turkish perspective, Turkey, and then I want to ask you, Nalan, how the Turks in Germany see all this. Do they also have the same perspectives, or are they different?
Yeah, I think Turkish mainstream media has been acting a very important role in antagonizing actually other nations, because that has been the political atmosphere in Turkey. It became more and more isolationist. There is paranoia towards other countries, especially the West. And this propaganda is being pumped really heavily on Turkish society via news, via famous Turkish series. Also, this is in the last couple of years. This is the only theme in Turkish series. This, I don't know, like secret organizations in Turkey doing evil stuff, and Turkish bureaucrats trying to stop that. This is the popular theme. So yeah, there's a huge propaganda being pumped into the into Turkish society. I think that's partially why, and we're trying to overcome that maybe in our show.
Yeah, that's great, Nalan. So, from a perspective now of somebody of Turkish descent living in Germany, you're probably not as affected by this propaganda. How do the Turkish people in Germany see this? Are they just as influenced by these
Yeah, I
antagonistic?
think we have to make a difference between Turkish people or Turkish backgrounded people living in Germany, because my answer is it depends. There are two groups. If you are from the first or second generation of Turkish people living in Germany, if you don't speak German fluently, if you still watch Turkish TV, read Turkish newspapers, and you are flooded by the manipulative information Nation was talking about, then yes, you will tell or that you will believe that Germany is one of your enemies, because this is the narrative which has been told you in the Turkish media. And there's also a very typical sentence you can hear, like people, some of this first group I'm talking about, they will tell you like, yeah, Turkey is a very strong country and Germany is just jealous about us, about our success. And this is really the narrative in Turkey. And when you watch Turkish media, then you will believe this. But on the other hand, there's another group. These are people like from the third or fourth generation living in Germany now. They speak fluently German. Their German is better than their Turkish, actually. They have a variation in their information about Turkey, and they can differentiate about like, what can I believe, what can I not believe from the media. And they will tell you other realities about Turkey and about Germany, because this group, their problems or their perception of Germany differs from people living in Turkey. For example, one of their very important problems in Germany is racism. Racism in educational system, racism when you are looking for an apartment in Berlin and you don't have a German name, so you maybe will not get an apartment. So they have then some other problems, but they wouldn't tell you that Germany is their enemy. I don't think so.
So you have these two groups. Can you give our viewers and us an idea of how big they are? Are they somehow percentage-wise? Are there opinion polls about this, or is this just an anecdotal guess?
I cannot give you a statistic about this, but there are almost 3 million Turkish backgrounded people in Germany. And nowadays it's like 60 years of migration from Turkey to Germany. So the first and second generations, they are mostly more older people, and third and fourth generations, these are very young people. I would say like till 30, 35 from the third and fourth generation. So just maybe this helps you to understand the statistics a bit. But I don't have any statistics about I don't think that there is some statistic, because how could you define them? Like many Turkish people, their parents came maybe, or grandparents came from Turkey, but they are now only German citizens. So if you wanted to make a statistic about this, you would recognize them as Germans and not as Turks.
But anecdotal evidence is that, I mean, if you go to areas where Turkish people, Turkish descent people live in Germany, then you will see a lot of Turkish media, and you will see television, Turkish television in the coffee shops and like so. So there's obviously, even for a non-expert, the impression that there's a lot of impact also coming culturally, and I think that's the case now. Okay, now what is the role? I mean, if we summarize this first, I want to talk about three units. First of all, the relationship in general, and then the next unit will be the role of the media in Turkish-German relations. We've already touched that. And then as a last point, the time is limited. Of course, we want to talk about the program we're presenting here. Maybe can we come to some conclusion regarding the role of the media in Turkish-German relations? We said that the relations are not that bad. They're not as bad as US-Turkish relations, but they're not that sweet as they maybe should be. Nevsin, you as a very, very veteran journalist who's followed this for many years, how would you judge the role of the media in these relations?
Well, according to latest data, still 78% of Turks, they say they get their information, political information and news from the TV channels. And most of the TV channels in Turkey are close to the government in a sense. Would say, to put it bluntly, they're like mouthpieces of the government. I mean, this is the latest picture we have. The reasons for that is another topic. Maybe we can talk about it in another session or in another event. But this is the case, and actually we observe that the Turkish public opinion is quite vulnerable in that sense to government propaganda. I mean, what I want to say scientifically, actually, whatever the government say, they can pass the message directly and very easily to the public, and they have a huge strength in making their constituents believe in their positions, both in foreign policy, also in internal politics. So the government, in that sense, has upper hand in that, since most of the TV channels and newspapers are controlled by the government. They can pump whatever message they like. And for the last couple of years, the followers of Turkey have been realizing that Turkey was kind of zigzagging in its international relations. Turkey, which is still a NATO country and a candidate for the EU, have been zigzagging towards Russia and China. So, from time to time, this propaganda against the West and Western values was kind of in fashion, as was being pumped by the government, and Turkish public opinion was kind of vulnerable to that, and that was on the rise.
But at the same time, and you are a stellar example for this. There are some very influential social media actors out there. There are some social media platforms with millions of followers, and how would you judge their impact? I mean, this is the field we are also operating in with our little show.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'll give also like statistics about that. According to the latest polls, around 60% of people say they now get their news and political information from social media. This used to be around like 20%, something like that. And with pandemic, actually, we saw that number skyrocketing basically. So yeah, more and more people turn to social media to get their political information, especially among younger people, younger urbanite people. They don't really watch TV. They're always on social media. If they want to, hear about the news, they turn to either YouTube or Twitter. So yeah, but the amazing thing about Turkey is it's like, I don't know, it's like there are two different worlds in Turkey, to be honest. One is urbanite, very, in a sense, card with Western values. There is this Turkey. I mean, if you came to Istanbul, where I am right now, you totally think you are in Mitte, Berlin. It's not that different in a sense. But then there's other Turkey. I mean, there's huge difference, and there's other Turkey. It's totally different. It's the opposite in a sense.
But media-wise, the trend is seemingly moving a little in a direction which is probably not very favorable for the status quo and for the governing party and Mr. Erdogan. Is that correct?
You are totally right. This is what we're seeing in the polls, what we call Generation Z. They're more questioning everything. They think more analytically, according to the research, according to the latest data, and they're more favorable for more liberal values. Actually, that's good for Turkey, I believe.
Wonderful for giving me the keyword Generation Z, because this was also the topic of one of your very popular shows, and Nalan, tell us a little about the show. I think we have a little trailer here, and I don't know whether the technician, our colleague from the technical department, can show us this. Is this possible, dear colleagues? If yes, then please do it now, or şimdi as we say in
Almanya'da
Turkish.
yaşayan Z kuşağı hangi konulara önem veriyor ve Merkel gibi bir başbakanın olması, bir kadın bir başbakanın olması onların siyasi bilincini nasıl etkiledi? Bu haftaki Sizde Durumlar Nasıl'ın yeni bölümünde konuşacağız.
Bu hafta Nalan Sipar'la Z kuşağını masaya yatırdık. Aslında enteresan. Bir yandan hani dünya birbirine yakınlaştı, insanlar birbirine benzedi bu iletişim devrimi nedeniyle diyorsun. Ama ilginç bir şekilde Almanya'daki Z kuşağı ile Türkiye'deki Z kuşağı arasında önemli farklar var.
Okay, so for all those who do not know Turkish, and there will be some people in the audience who do not, so Nalan, what is all this about? Maybe you tell us first what you and what Nevsin said, and then maybe you explain a little the idea of Sizde Durumlar Nasıl.
Yeah.
Actually, you're the inventor of the name.
Yes, in this program we are talking about both states and both societies, like how do both states deal with the pandemic situation, for example, or are there some new roles for men and fathers in both societies? So we do not only talk about politics. So this is something very special about this program, but. The episode with Generation Z was very interesting because I think I'm right when I tell it is the best watched episode. I checked it out like a few minutes ago. It was like 400,000 clicks, and this is huge, of course. But I think the important topic was we were talking about the young people in Turkey. Because a lot of Turkish young people, they want to leave the country. If I'm not correct, please correct me, Nevsin. But I think I read a statistic about like 70% of young Turkish people they would prefer to leave the country when they have had the chance for this. So this is also what I'm observing. After this episode, for example, I've been becoming. Receiving a lot of messages on social media. People were asking me like, how can I come to Germany? Are there some studies? How is it better to start a study in Germany to go to the university, or should I marry someone in Germany? So I think there is and there will be more brain drain in Turkey in the next years. And that was a topic which was really interesting for young people. But another special thing about our show is that we are talking in Turkish, but we have also some German subtitles. And that was actually my biggest wish because a lot of young German Turks living in Germany, they speak German fluently, as I mentioned before, but they don't speak Turkish very well. And they want to get some information about Turkey, but also in Germany from different alternative media. So now we also add some German subtitles because we want to reach out to them too. They are really interested in Turkish politics and they want to understand Turkish politics. But there's a small problem in German media outlets that also only like 5% of editorial staff in Germany have a migrant background. So this is maybe also one and a very special program to show to other institutions that they should make more programs with maybe subtitles or to achieve this migrant young people. And this is also why I do my late night show to reach them out. But we need more examples like this, just to finish this with our Sizde Durumlar Nasıl?
Yes, maybe and maybe Sizde Durumlar Nasıl, how would you translate it in English or in German? There was a little discussion about how you...
In German, we would say, wie sieht's bei euch aus? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
how is this situation in your country? So we are not talking about just hard politics. We are also talking about society topics from the society, and we are very curious about like how is it right now in Turkey nation? How is it right now in Berlin, in Kreuzberg, or somewhere else in Berlin? So I think it's a very interesting program.
And I'm really happy to associate with you. And I'm really happy also about the process because there's a discussion going on, and I would put my role in a little that of the producer with just the topics. And then very importantly, we have so-called Vox Populi. So there are street interviews from Istanbul and from Berlin. And they add, I think, a very special dimension. Now, after all this advertisement, maybe Nevsin, you tell us, where can we see this? Where I mean,
Yeah,
it's very easy to find it, isn't it?
it is actually. It's on my YouTube channel. You can just write Nevsin Mengu on YouTube and ask Size Durumlar Nasıl, you'll come across that. Maybe I can give like 1-2 little statistics about our show, like who watches it, and you know, like from where. Actually, it's interesting because most of the you know, politics news content on YouTube is rather they're watched by men. Female viewers are like normally around 20%, 30%, something like that. But Sizde Durumlar Nasıl, we don't talk about hard politics, but we talk about daily issues and social issues, basically. So 42.3% of Sizde Durumlar Nasıl viewers are female. I'm sort of proud to say that we have female viewers. 41.2% of our viewers are between ages 18 and 24. 33.3% of our viewers are between age 25 and 34. So we have a really young viewership. Most of our viewers are from Turkey, but we also have viewers from Germany, which is around, you know, almost around 4%. People from Germany are watching us. So I think our numbers also kind of rock.
And we're working on that to get a little more viewers from Germany, and Nalan is preoccupied with that. Maybe time is running out. Before I make a summary, and I will not, the topic we are discussing is overcoming stereotypes. Maybe from both of you, a short kind of commentary. Do you think that by doing this show, apart from all the other great stuff you're doing, you're helping to overcome stereotypes which are affecting Germans and Turks who are living side by side? Nalan,
If I go first,
oh, yeah, please go first. Excuse me, Nevsin.
Shall I go? Yeah, I think we do, because there is actually, I mean, I don't think German public knows about this, but there is also a bias towards Turks living in Germany also. Turks living in Germany are viewed as staunch Erdogan supporters, and, you know, like they're not really favorable in Turkey by, you know, everyone in that sense. So there is a big bias towards them. But, you know, I think especially Nalan has been doing a great job in actually describing Turks living in Germany to Turks living in Turkey.
Okay, Nalan, that's a lot of flour coming from Istanbul.
Which I can give back just because without Nevsin's YouTube channel, and she has a huge followership on Twitter, like 2 million. This gives us actually the base for our work, and that makes us seeable. So. Of course, as media, we define stereotypes, and we also strengthen some stereotypes. And our job is somehow to come away from them, like to questioning all the time, are these stereotypes right or not? Are Turkish people living in Germany like the same like Turkish people in Turkey? They are, of course, not. But you both know we've been discussing about this a lot, and I've been telling to you all the time, there's a new generation of Turkish people in Germany. They are well educated, and now we have another new wave, new people, politicians, some journalists, politically active people who came to Germany after the failed coup attempt in Turkey. So we have a new population now, and this is important to underline it, because there's no one German-Turkish population in Germany, and we both try to make this visible. So I think we have a huge power to change all the stereotypes, and we give our best to do this.
And thank you so much. I have the huge power now as a moderator to stop at 1400 Istanbul time sharp. I would like to thank the both of you, Nevsin and Nalan, for first of all for doing this and for continuing this and for our very, very fine and collegial cooperation. I would like to thank also the great organizational team of Deutsche Welle Global Media Forum, which the Friedrich Naumann Foundation has been associated with from the very, very beginning, for hosting us. And last but not least, I would like to thank the audience for joining us today. And I'll stop with an advertisement for Turkey and Istanbul. Now things are getting better and you want to think of where to travel for, consider Istanbul. It's a fabulous place. It's probably the most fabulous place around, and it's so far, so close to Germany. And then you can see to what extent there are stereotypes, and you yourself can help maybe overcome them. Thank you very much. In Turkish we say görüşürüz. Bye-bye.